globais para todos. Os direitos humanos nacional apaziguado nas cadeias para terminar durante e que os resultados insulares em desenvolvimento em cada
Thank you very much.
I wish to thank the President of protocol to escort His Excellency. His Majesty King Mswati III, His Majesty King Mswati III, to address the Assembly.
Your Excellency, heads of state, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, this distinguished 77th, once again, we are meeting at a time when we have just out by the COVID-19 pandemic. The countries of the world where it is the development and supply of it's safe to say we are, despite these challenges, positives to take away. Are now very helpful in. We have witnessed the lives of snake bite, the COVID pandemic, which programs that had been put in the fight against HIV. Attained the 90 treatment cascade target on ending the AIDS pandemic. This milestone when the first it is unfortunate we were beginning to say that in food prices globally as they persist in Africa. Peaceful resolutions. Effort to hopefully there will be UN intervention. we're all reminded, which was to reduce tensions we hope the aspiration organization to bring us be of great help to all. Back to the sustainable development, a negative impact we witnessed the and the disruption. There was no movement of people. COVID is subsiding. A crucial role in helping. Also note the importance in assisting. We suffered a lot economically in raising resources to fund financial institutions that need support to their request with simple become more welcoming towards countries. The world will continue to situation that will be felt contribute to resolving some of 77th session. The theme fits the kingdom of a soul immune to these encounters and the African Union we want. Create big industry. In doing so, to help us achieve of the areas we are working. We are also focused on remaining comes to trading across borders. Support measures this and initial range of options from fiscal. The creation of us at an advantage attracting well positioned as a launch pad Africa trade with a market of 1 GDP of 2.2 also engaged in who want to engage this is a noble idea. Food security and government of the Kingdom of nations engaged in cash transfers to the elderly and support services for disadvantaged and irrigation development year. For small and emerging to enhance their livelihood. Change are more dams throughout the combination of this 21, 20, 20 of our national target. Stability at stake to guard against opportunity economies to advance the ardent belief that Africa in 2005. The fact that every and that societies we will not of this call faced the it must be noted that to find solutions. Access some of the World Health Organization implement the remedy participation in the UN agency. The village would benefit substantially to make the necessary arrangements to participate in relevant Mr. President, in the global body's capability most of them are men. Full commitment to this time history walking the path to 20 success hinges on unity. We need to keep role in all global issues. May Almighty God bless.
To restore peace and to victim of the armed Ukraine, and we demand just safe borders. The crime was committed against the dignity nations, and Ukraine territory. punishment for punishment for provoked with its only for us that is represented. I'm speaking on itself, but has the to hear how work not only for us in similar circumstances. Crime protects integrity, guarantees President of the General Assembly, dear heads of states of the world, Ukraine is the world the only one who he could interrupt my speech with his team prevail over us. Ukraine showed strength in accordance with a result in this, and what will be in charter proclaims the Ukraine is equal among the value of human rights. Calculate them with every. We didn't provoke talks in various formats of my presidency. Russia, instead of stopping in 2014, told it the internationally recognized item of our peace formula. The international compensated. Aggressor are part of the peace. So long as the aggressor organization, he must be last rights, remove the right. We shouldn't turn fight aggression, but allowed to enjoy tourism or that should be encouraged of their own state. A special tribunal punish Russia for our state. These they must value peace. We have prepared most terrible punishments of everything else. The most concrete assembly continue in the Ukraine is underway. Women and men, children, five graves of a house after a Russian mother, 6 and a body. There is a man, and this is not the first. Representatives of Russia, why obsessed it to do this to others? Also in Bucha, in a Zoom for a longer time. Buried and not streets. So how can, knowing that they are cannot, we must protect every state suffering financial health. It's necessary to have with needed is life. Entire territory. Time we tried to demand the basic typical for aggressors. Negotiations, it only wants to and you offend. At least it wants to prepare occupied land and carry to a delayed war, because support weapons, military, long range systems, above all internal stability, physical and social protection. So the second item of available means of our peace formula is restoring security. Russia has undermined food safety with mass destruction, with security, and I think personal involvement. Libya, Kenya, Somalia, Israel, India, Iran have already received Ukrainian increase the supply by the UN food program. And by the way, we decided to provide, so we will send them But it's more difficult with other. The explosion hit the damage. The rockets exploded. And appeal to Russia to stop facilities of Ukraine. Nuclear power station, the largest, and that makes the cost of the energy market, the main factor of global price necessary to cap the price of goods again currently. And that is why it manipulates petrol and diesel become goods available. After which everything, this step will push after the massacre. Ukrainian prisoners in Oleg after the strikes of the Russian, after threats, the rule, not the exception of terrorism at all. The values of politically. If you don't have in the parliaments, this is the if the strong step disappear, whether to take sensitive is the border to steal the territory of another of the nation, which item of the Ukrainian peaceful integrity. The force has the right to security. Allow any more aggression binding, multilateral and guarantors to act. Results on land, at sea, in economy and finance. You who will receive the tax of what we offer as security. We want to stress the security of a nation, prevent already begun. The determination, something will not work. This is our of the partners to help us, of the world to unite and to call to order the one items of our formula of security and territorial and oneself. Any potential aggressors and for themselves. Hear each other's problems. They take only for protocol and such words from Russia, but India, not Germany or Ukraine. Resolved. You have happened to hear they were ready referendums in the occupied territory. Mobilization in Russia also true. Russia stop the course of history. Stronger than one terrorist. The war it has started. Agreed to sit at one table by new Russian missile. Prove their weakness. Inability to prevail over the world of the Ukrainian peace formula for peace, but true. The world is on our side. And one country. It was a vote, not it was the vote about principles. Belarus, Cuba, Russia, and Syria. Of the video address. And 7. And I congratulate you all. Prevail over any aggression. There is no obstacle. Thank you. I thank you.
On behalf of the request protocol to escort his on bridge.
Distinguished Secretary General, about the essence of obliged me to share difficult. Everything we are doing here today, our words make hollow, and that no one strives towards care only of their own interests. Oh, throwing is founded on. From UN, but of the political, economic, and unfortunately, we are witnesses that the age threatening to radically established international legal order. And unity in order to woven into the foundations of the United States to speak clearly and accurately before you. Point returning to peace and preservation of territorial of this organization in the countries. Point 3. Disputes has no alternative. And it is best described in the UN to practice tolerance, denial of use of force and peace, but they must be accompanied by implementation of mandatory UN international public law. And sovereignty of internationally recognized renowned institution. And violation of territorial conflict on the European soil after the sovereign country was violated. What is the difference between a rational answer? Serbia has not stepped its foot in a single sovereign state. The way it was done as I said, it did not prevent from attacking a sovereign country. Signing of the agreement with is envisaged adoption of the UN did not prevent many Western countries and from violating one developments that Serbia experienced. Convinced that I'm fully entitled to Martin Luther King everywhere. Reminder, but as a warning that we still feel the consequences of international public advocating consistent observance of the stability of borders, respect for such position of ours, respecting territorial integrity of Serbia. They have the power in their hands. The strength to tell the truth. Space and territory of Kosovo and Metohija. That number of countries who support continue because it is of embedded into the UN Charter borders. The Republic patiently and with a lot of eyes regarding Kosovo and Metohija Pristina dialogue. It is but we see no alternative to it. Compromise, because this is peace as a prerequisite. We have exhausted all other, at least we do not even dream. The Balkan region could not from our international partners. Bad, and that they had not been active and world peace. Elements of hybrid war and dirty it would be enough. Yeah, that's only to be prevented from telling the truth. Borders must be equally applicable of stability in the entire integrity of Republika Srpska within Bosnia. Convinced that the nations of the Balkans, friends and partners, with because we have already surpassed many thousands of lives and wasted future. And the friendly Balkan Peninsula. About our past. To our companies, workers, a lot and reached by ourselves numerous asked for no rational reason. Serbia, Albania, and North Macedonia have in order to create a space which would, in addition to unquestionable broader dimension, first of all, which by all means contributes to way Serbia actually in the region whereby it's in history and the great UN to paradise, but rather that we curbed the global pandemic, we have while we as a man developing countries, but also the solidarity which can be necessary in today when people's basic necessities. Because Serbia thinks of its energy security as opposite for the continuation of provide a continuity of energy supply, undermine the energy stability in the world, and the transformational strength. I would like to underline during the ongoing crisis. Nevertheless, resources in additional the decade of more sustainable. It has to remain like that, but at a so financial perils in the developing equal development must neither be or ahead, which we must overcome together. Crisis inflicted on global reality such that all of us and efficient solutions international subjects to involve to this noble task at national levels and their dignity. We are facing remind us of the importance that challenges can be successfully overcome. Serbia believes Serbia, then we saw that the rules created to overcome all these difficulties for everybody in the world. Anyway, thanks you. I hope that
statement just made, and I will hear an address by His Serene of Monaco. I request honor to welcome His Serene Highness Assembly.
Monsieur le Président, Messieurs les chefs d'État,
2 years have passed since the start of the COVID. Revealed our fault lines in the Northern Hemisphere, the overshoot imposing on the planet whose indeed, President, the theme that you've chosen
des
indeed it's a
solutions
watershed moment that
transformatrices.
requires us.
Monsieur le Président, permettez le
Election
président
to
de la
preside
77e
over
séance
the
d'un
leadership
petit État
of his
insulaire.
small island.
Nous partageons votre
We share your
conviction quant à la
conviction and ensure the survival of humanity. Agenda.
Soyez assurés du
Rest
plein
assured of
soutien dans la préparation des
preparation
importantes
for
échéances et au sommet du futur
and the
en
summit
2000. Exactement
exactly 100 years
disparaissait
ago.
le souverain humaniste et
This
visionnaire
humanist
plaidait
and
sans
big
faire
role
progresser nos
of
sociétés
science to drive to preserve our
alors même
planet
que le monde
at a time
traverse les relations internationales.
point where
Pose
the production
majoritairement
which are
sur
mainly
l'effréné de notre
frenetic.
consommation.
that
Dans la dégradation
2020
des
was the
écosystèmes au
only
niveau
in
En
an
effet, dans
emergency
l'urgence,
fashion
l'Organisation mondiale de la
the
santé,
World Health Organization.
nous examinons
We will
donc
then-
avec une
mechanism
réponse
which could
coordonnée
facilitate a
difficultés rencontrées
repeat the
au
difficulties
début de la
faced
plus de 3 décennies.
It's been
Changement
about the
climatique.
disastrous, often irreversible
Et le
civilization
respect de la
and
planète
respect for the
dont
of our seas and
s'inscrit dans une
oceans is
tradition
part of
familiale. L'engagement
on
de
in
mon
the
pays
commitments of my
et que
country.
j'ai
2005.
au-delà de nos discours,
Beyond
il s'agit ni plus ni moins de
this is
saisir
we have to
pour l'humanité.
build a future.
le renforcement des mesures d'adaptation et ému
I'm
pour
thinking
le peuple du
particularly
Pakistan. Ces efforts
flooding.
urgents et
These urgent
indispensables les
way
émissions de
with
gaz à
policy
effet. Chaque pays met en profondeur
must
son économie
radically already
nous en
exists.
sommes les acteurs.
We
Collectivement,
required so that we
à
can
réussir
collect coming deadlines in
au sein de la
2020, both
Convention
within
mais
allow us to
réellement les
really
jalons d'une
pave
société.
such
Notre
challenges.
chef commun serait tout simplement
President
le prince Albert
Prince Albert
Ier, comme
open
soucieux
to others.
d'apprendre
He
et
was
d'écouter
keen
les
to learn. And giving the
constitutions, il en
Principality
a
a
fait un état de
constitution, solution to their disputes.
monde
Terror,
sans que
despair, and
nous y
chaos
sur
has
le continent
unfortunately
européen.
returned
flagrant
is
le droit international,
flagrantly
la sécurité et
undermining
la
the
stabilité
security
de
and
l'Europe.
stability
Ukrainienne
inter
de
alia on the
souffrances indicibles.
hours of our history.
Enfin, je salue la
Victims of food
exacerbant le
scarcity.
cercle vicieux. Monaco a fait de cette problématique de son aide
Takes
publique
almost
au
a
développement.
third of its
Et
fight
contre la malnutrition,
malnutrition, at
qui ne
extreme
cesse
tensions
de
that are
s'amplifier. Nombre
the
de
number
conflits à travers le
of
monde.
which is a terrifying number. And it
de
is
nos
now
sociétés.
followed by digitalization. It
Les
is indeed
technologies de l'information et des communications. Base de la
demonstrated that new
transformation
technologies use
pour
this
adapter
web
les systèmes
in order to
éducatifs au
adapt
monde. Merci le secrétaire général pour cette initiative.
a further
De
opportunity
coopération. Désinformation
and
et tout
disinformation.
simplement de mettre au
Intelligence
service de
should
l'humain et non
benefit
manipuler.
us from each other.
Monsieur le
Of the
ont
members
été
of the General
représentés par
Assembly
leur
will
chef
have been
d'État. Je souhaite y voir
Here,
l'affirmation
of the
multilatérale.
Charter and also multilateral.
Des
Universal
droits de l'homme,
Declaration of Human Rights state
de
family
leurs droits
and their
égaux et
equal and
inaliénables
and
et de la
peace
paix dans le monde.
around the world. Effective
Où la jeunesse et les
multilateralism,
femmes
where
joueraient
young
un
people
place
then to
dans le
promote
leadership mondial. Au sein
continuing its
d'ONU
commitment
Femmes
within
et au
the
travers de la délégation
cooperation
entend
policy. My
contribuer
delegation
pleinement au
plans
travail
build
du multilatéralisme.
Serene Highness. By His Excellency Charles Angelo. I request protocol to Excellency Charles Angelo Savarino.
Greetings and a very President, my delegation, Dominica, congratulations during your tenure. Yes, sir. His Excellency family and to the government and Queen Elizabeth II and continuity and the world at large. Session of the United Nations when we are faced with innumerable term implications. Degradation of poverty, incurable diseases. Of this august body in finding solutions. Challenges are other. Mr. President, the must always, in this interconnected world, affects us all. We are all victims of goods and services and Ukraine. The developments to the Russian invasion of Ukraine never the Commonwealth in calling for an continues to rage in Ukraine. Welcomes the deal with the assistance of Turkey to various destinations. Global food. And in the interest of global peace, that further relief can be. Mr. President, in Dominica and the which in March of 20 World Health Organization have eased COVID-19 that the pandemic is not. Variants continuing to emerge. Threat to the global community. Imposed the limitations, commitments, and implementation. With respect, national that no one is insulated anywhere on this. This is under severe threat, uninhabitable if we need to talk less into the atmosphere. Prospect of drought, all of which will affect to build a resilience disasters which are triggered we must lay and people focused. Small states like ours across the world, developed world, to change the planet and our very life. Resilience to the impacts of change is affecting us. News reports the evidence this on grant impact of success. Tropical Storm Erica respectively with lives shattered of becoming the first climate in every sector. Developing states are this a phenomenon of global. Some small island states will experience coastal Commonwealth of Dominica to prioritize financing to seeds as we seek to minimize events. In this way, and justice or and promises of the continuous call must be reflected in national obligation and in the reported on the tremendous progress towards the achievement of the nation. Dominica's main are showing signs of remain the main income generation pre-pandemic levels per annum of Dominicans' resilience across Dominica, new constructed for low have been constructed from extreme weather and to other natural emergencies. In this regard, the Commonwealth of to the new global development assists countries like Dominica a change to accelerate agenda. And healthy lives we grow and component of our resilience. Indeed, the SDG aims to pursue smart and the perils of hunger. Sector to reduce on there is renewed emphasis while at the same time for export on a scientific practices. National obligation, elimination of nuclear weapons who have nuclear weapons, non-proliferation, the trade and economic continues to be of great concern to us, has become more urgent. Ukraine war on food continues to join its voice with the organization to trade restrictions and it has long been established when this embargo was instituted, if it ever was, the few states who could call archaic and unfair full integration of the systems. These engineers and to developing countries. Cuba also disciplines to thousands of trafficking in the Caribbean. States who have countries that sponsor terrorism direct our efforts to combat security in the region. Mr. Chair, declared Venezuela an unusual and foreign policy of the United States enduring severe hardships, financial and economic. Worse, of many of the unjustified imposed on the people of Venezuela. And humanitarian crisis, it is further incumbent for Venezuela to president the current turned to us and demanded Washington Post on the 6th of August international intervention. 2022. Mr. President, yes, colony in the Americas hemisphere left the country 50,000 lives with the capital of there was an in damage and a nations agencies and some 4.6 food specifically find solutions. International community needs, as is the case with Ukraine, situation as requiring a so-called the deep-rooted. We therefore urge the United Nations unified response that brings technical human Haitian people. Let us seek transformative. I conclude, Mr. President, to all of our international Commonwealth of Dominica, major tropical storms and one of building back better. And with your continued support in the all delegates at these deliberations, I thank you.
On behalf of Dominica for the statement just made, we shall now continue. The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Mohammed Najib Azmi Mikati.
السيد رئيس الدورة 77
Mr. President of the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly,
سعادة أمين عام جمعية العامة
the Secretary General of State, Government and Delegation, of State, Government and Delegation. I would like to extend to you the presidency of the General Assembly in southern Lebanon. Armed forces. Lebanese armed forces military reaffirm Lebanon's full commitment 1701 and all the resolutions our maritime borders and with the commendable American Lebanon's absolute commitment to its exclusive economic zone
رغبتنا
that is long
ويسرني
overdue.
إعلامكم. نأمل أن نصل
And
إلى
hope that we will
خواتيمه.
Lebanon
مصمم
is
على
determined
حماية
countries in the
وتلبية حاجات
region
الدول
and
المتحدة أن تقوم به يؤكد
agenda
واتفاق
for
قوالية
we also
الراعية
believe in
لمسائل
armament issues
ونرحب
in
أيضا
their standing to rid the Middle East of weapons.
546
70
هذه الغاية في دورات المؤتمر
of Lebanon next November. Supporting the establishment of a zone in the Middle East.
سيد الرئيس، أثرت بشكل كبير حكومات ودول
extraordinary measures to try.
أما في بلد لبنان
As for my this has affected all institutions, caused the migration of our homeland. In addition to the unprecedented of the national currency to its pursuit of the truth. This in addition in the midst of all of this, we feel necessary to tread very slowly to remedy the situation.
السيد الرئيس،
achieving many of its goals. On time,
رغم الظروف الصعبة
despite the
وفي هذا
in
السياق
this context, from this rostrum, we pledge is necessary to over. In this context,
والانتماء إن
for
انتماء لبنان
identity
العربي
its constitution and the Taif agreement our full commitment tolerance of any attempt to keep our country as far away the government of Lebanon also relies which through their commendable assistance and the prosperous Lebanese need for peace and in the context of
وعلى وضع القوانين التي
and combat the scourge result of the economic collapse. unlock
كامنة
its
فيه
potential.
لا سيما
For they are the beacon for the world with pioneering
وفي هذا إلى
countries
جانب لبنان
to stand by the National Conference, which has friends and brothers and sisters of the independent Lebanese
قوية
state
وقادرة
that is and public and private
وتؤمن
freedoms.
بالتسامح
Adopts a policy
والابتعاد عن
of
سياسة
dissociation
المحافظة
in their
على
diversity
تنوعها واختلافها متطلبات
and the
العصر
requirement of the
وفورها
time and urgent need for the entire
السوريين
Syrians
يصعب إحصاؤها